Hello and welcome to another edition of Broome Up Front. I'm your host, Ben Sperduti. Today we have a great show lined up for you. Today I'm joined here with Christopher Yanusas, a neuropsychologist who has created his own practice and works with the American Hockey League team, the Binghamton Devils, taking care of the players who get concussions during the season. Dr. Yanusas, great to have you on today.
Glad to be here, Ben.
Now, tell me, what exactly does a neuropsychologist do?
Neuropsychologist gets referrals from neurology to test a person's cognitive function to find out if their functioning is less than other people their age.
I see. Now, how did you get your job working specifically for the Devils?
3 years ago, the NHL instituted a rule that each team had to have a neuropsychologist on staff to assess concussions. So when the Senators left, the Binghamton Devils contacted me and I took the job happily.
That's a pretty big deal because I know that over the years the NHL has been trying to make sure that everything that they do in the major leagues is followed suit down on the minors. So that's great. Now, how often do players get concussions in a sport like hockey?
Concussions vary in the league. In the beginning of the season, there aren't too many concussions, but as league play goes on and there's more hitting involved, more rivalries developing, you see a lot more hits to the head and concussions.
That's true. A lot of the rivalries develop, things start to get hairier, players start to point each other out, and yeah, it gets pretty serious. Now, right over here on your right, we have a graph here of what looks like brain scan. So tell me a little bit more about concussions and the things surrounding it.
This is a brain scan of a concussion. Basically, it's an energy crisis in the brain rather than a bruise or bleeding.
Okay.
The brain on the right shows a lot of blue, basically normal functioning. The brain on the left is having a lot of red hues, yellow hues, meaning there is reduced cerebral blood flow and therefore impairment in functioning.
I see. And this is new to me. So tell me, what are some of the symptoms of a concussion? Like what causes it, I guess you could say?
Well, what causes it is a blow to the head or shaking, as in a car accident. If you, upon collision, your head goes forward and back, causes a shear type of injury.
I see. Yes, the recoil, I guess you could say. So what would some of the symptoms be?
The symptoms are multivariate. There's cognitive symptoms, memory loss, loss of concentration. Physical symptoms, headache, nausea, vomiting, loss of balance are the #1 symptoms. Emotional irritability, high anxiety, and poor sleep.
Oh, I see. So now what would be some of the protocol to a concussion, I guess you could say?
When an athlete gets concussed, there's a specific protocol where they start off with no activity, and then they start to progress to light aerobic exercise. They may start a stationary bicycle training where they're monitoring their heartbeat, and then they start sport-specific exercise, all needing to be symptom-free during physical activity. And the last part is me, where I give them cognitive testing, and they have to be symptom-free at that level to return to play.
I see. So you are the person who gives them the clear to return to the ice.
I inform the team physician. The team physician always gives them the clearance. However, I have their baseline testing at camp, and if they don't meet those levels, they're not returning to play.
I see. So he is definitely the man in charge. It's all the time we have for this break, so stay tuned because I hear when we come back, Dr. Yanusas is going to mess with my vision. Don't go anywhere.
Marked the first printing of SUNY Broome's student newspaper since the 90s. Zachary Allen, the president of the newspaper, discussed the problems of getting it back up and running.
It was incredibly difficult. We hit a lot of bumpy roads along the way. It was hard getting our writers to do work. We butted heads with administration at points, with public safety a couple times. Like I said during our meeting today, it was originally thought impossible to get us to newsprint, but we did it.
Zach is very proud of the first edition. He hopes that the paper will create a sense of community, which is what is missing on this campus.
It kind of brings back freedom of the press to the campus, which had been missing for a long time. A lot of the campus news we received came directly from the college. And when it came from the college, in my opinion, it wasn't exactly what the students wanted to hear. It was kind of just what the college wanted the students to hear. and wasn't what the students needed to hear. So the Fulcrum brings that importance of freedom of the press back to campus.
The paper is run on a bi-weekly run. They spend a week writing, then 1 week editing, then it's off to the copy center. Then they start planning the next run.
It's incredibly honoring and humbling. I say honoring because it's nice to bring something back that's been gone for so long and make people so happy with something that is just, in my opinion, I don't want to say simple, but it's kind of easy to do, at least for me. I mean, it's been hard to get to this point, but it was something I just kind of do in my free time and something I do for fun.
To join the Fulcrum, contact Chris Keaty with his staff email or contact Zach at his student email, both of which are available on the Swarm. For Broome Up Front, this is Diamond Andrews and Shelley Robinson.
Welcome back to Broome Up Front. I'm still here with Dr. Yanusas, who's about to give me double vision and give me a realistic concussion test. Doctor?
Okay, so we're going to discuss the return to play protocol that involves testing of cognitive and physical function. So I'm going to give Ben these glasses. Of course, he doesn't have a concussion, but I gave him double vision to see if this affects his performance on the testing. Okay, so Ben, before we start, I'm going to give you 5 words to remember.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about them later. They are candle, paper, sugar, sandwich, and wagon. Okay, now turn to the board. I'm going to give you this marker, and what I want you to do is start with the pink 1, and you have to go to the orange 2, and then to the pink 3, and so on as fast as you can.
Gotcha.
Okay, ready, begin. And I'm going to time him. Okay, and what I'm looking for is any breaks. Oh, see, Ben, you made a mistake. Okay, you have to go to the orange 4.
Oh.
Okay, so start again. Start at 3 and go to the orange 4. Okay, that would be a break in divided attention. Okay, and that would be a mark against him. I'm also looking at his speed. Is he slowing down? Okay, is he starting to get a headache or loss of balance? In this case. Or is he starting to get fatigued?
For all we know, it
All
could be
right.
a little bit of both.
That's right. And then I would compare. I would compare his performance to scores that we would have taken at training camp, taking baseline measures of his functioning. Okay, next I'm going to have you stand. Okay, and we're going to do a sway test. This is how we assess balance. Okay, now what foot would you kick a ball with?
That would be my right foot.
Okay, good. I want you to stand on your left foot, hands on your hips for 20 seconds.
Okay.
So you go ahead. We're going to time him. Okay, so what I'm looking for, right, he's starting to lose balance. Okay, from his vision, I'd be looking for, does he pull his hands off his hips? How much sway does he have? There are certain measurements for this. And if the player cannot stand still for that 20 seconds, then they're probably not back to baseline. Okay, that's good.
Whew.
All right, and now I'm going to ask you those 5 words.
Okay. Candle, paper, sandwich, toaster?
No?
Well, there's 3 out of 5.
Okay, so then that may indicate a memory loss. I would have to look at his data at baseline and see if that was what he did when he didn't have a concussion.
Well, hopefully it was just simply my terrible memory and not a concussion.
I'm
but
sure it was.
Still, all the same, Dr. Yanusas, thank you so much for your time. Folks, that's all the time we have for today on this edition of Broome Up Front. A big thank you to Dr. Christopher Yanusas for joining us today. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed me falling over, and make sure you tune in next week for another amazing show here on Broome Up Front. Take care.